A channel that we absolutely love here at the Best Damn Nerd Show is Nerdrotic. Fun fact, I actually used to shop at his comic store. He recently took to YouTube and was reacting off of the George Lucas interview as he continues to break his silence about Disney Star Wars and losing control of Star Wars. However, my takeaway wasn't really from anything George said, but rather a declarative statement and shot across the bow from Nerdrotic. I'm James. Welcome to the Best Damn Nerd Show channel. We're putting out all your nerdy content that you can handle here. Let's rewind for a second and talk about this video. Nerdrotic was reacting off of an interview that George Lucas did, very awkwardly, sort of standing next to somebody next to a table and answering a question about the future of Star Wars and certain things sort of culturally and philosophically, and got into the conversation about, I lost control of Star Wars.
I don't know. I mean, I've kind of lost control of Star Wars, so it's going off in a different path than what I intended. But the first 6 are very much mine and my philosophy. And I think that philosophy sort of goes beyond any particular time, because it's based on history, it's based on philosophy, it's based on a lot of things. And the first 3 basically tell you how a democracy turns into a dictatorship.
I think the takeaway piece for a lot of people is like, oh, he lost control of Star Wars. Well, he sold Star Wars. What I really took away from it is when George Lucas said, well, the 6 are undoubtedly mine philosophically. That there was whether or not I like the prequels or not is sort of irrelevant in this case, is that for George, those 6 did have a through line philosophically. That was Star Wars. And anything after that, he's now on record as saying that they do not align. So again, Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars. It's just a great bomb from Nerdrotic that I will continually use when I have to.
Breaking news, George Lucas doesn't like the Disney trilogy. Kathleen Kennedy is the boss at Lucasfilm, and Jon Favreau is just her employee. Also, Lucasfilm is filled with hypocrisy. All this in a Nerdrotic Stating the Obvious special report.
Nerdrotic.com.
That's right. Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars, and George Lucas agrees with that.
Watching Nerdrotic discussing Star Wars was music to the former Jedi Master's ears, as I used to refer to myself, until I was betrayed by Disney Star Wars. And that's what he got into. We're less than 30 seconds in, and he drops a line that I think that is so validating and vindicating for a large portion of the fan base that grew up with Star Wars. And that is this: Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars. And I loved hearing him say this. And he just lays it all out there that the Kathleen Kennedy and Disney led Star Wars, severed ties to what made the fandom what it was. And it just got me thinking about conversations that had on the Best Damn Nerd Show in the past year. We traveled back some months ago, and I was trying to talk about The Mandalorian and how it was restoring some hope that I had in the Star Wars universe, where I was unceremoniously attacked by one of my co-hosts, Jonathan Craig, saying that I am not a Star Wars fan. Let's roll the footage.
I'm not going to rest until you admit that you're not a Star Wars fan.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
You liked the original 3 movies, but in terms of all the other equally or more weighted items since then, you have not liked a lot of it, most of it.
Yeah, I have not liked the bad movies that they've put out. You're right. I've not liked the stuff that's not good. The original Star Wars trilogy, the movies that were selected as culturally significant to be preserved, I love.
Simply put, there are people that have grown up with Star Wars that like the prequels. They like episodes 7 through 9. They like The Mandalorian. They like all the spin-off movies. They like a lot of the books. They like a lot of the games. These are Star Wars fans. These are people who every time the Star Wars universe expands and introduces new characters and new items, or fleshes out a character, or goes back and looks at a character's lineage, or sees what happens, years later and the impacts of a storyline that happened in these movies and a lot of the movies that you don't like. these people like these properties.
Cool. A lot of people don't. There's a lot of Star Wars fans out there that also agree with me, John.
Star Wars
yes,
fans.
they are.
Those are not
just because they're not Star Wars fans to you, John.
How can you be a fan of something
just
you don't
because
like?
I don't get to set canon, you don't get to set who the f is a Star Wars fan.
How can you be a fan of something you don't like?
I love the original Star Wars trilogy. How are you not understanding this? I don't have to accept sight unseen all the Star Wars movies, to be a fan of Star Wars. I can lament that certain movies aren't up to par for what the original Star Wars trilogy gave us, in my opinion. The idea that I am not a Star Wars fan because I don't like everything that has been released from Star Wars is completely ridiculous. And, coming out of that conversation, I'm not going to lie. It's not the first time that I've heard that. I've been attacked on various social media platforms for not being a real fan because I don't like everything that has come out since the original trilogy. But in this video, I think it's rightly pointed out that the fandom, the movies, everything about it has changed, certainly since George Lucas gave it up. And I know that doesn't completely sort of salve everything from my perspective because I don't like the prequels. But the idea that you have to like everything that has been done to Star Wars in order to maintain your fandom is completely ridiculous. And so it was music to my ears to hear this and to know that there is a large group of Star Wars fans out there that feels the exact same way that we do, which is that Disney Star Wars essentially has been a betrayal of what the movies were about. And we got some hope with The Mandalorian, but now as more and more stuff pours out about, what the future of that franchise holds, doubt has crept in yet again. And to hear George Lucas continually comment about how he lost control of Star Wars and it's gone down this path that he hadn't intended. I am now in this day and age, I am more ready to accept the prequels with all of their flaws and to swear off Disney Star Wars even more hardcore than I could have ever imagined. I never thought I'd be sitting here and being sort of like opening up again to the prequels just to push out Disney Star Wars. I remember when Disney bought it, I thought they could be the savior of Star Wars after the prequels and really sort of understand what they held in their hand and return it to its glory. I was wrong. I love seeing Luke Skywalker at the end of The Mandalorian. Spoilers, everyone. Sorry, you've had enough time to watch it. But it will never excuse The Last Jedi. The fact that they were given the keys to, the hero of so many of us growing up, and they completely nosedived him into the side of a cliff and destroyed him is unforgivable. And, a CGI deepfake at the end of The Mandalorian, until they officially say that The Last Jedi is no more, I cannot get behind Disney Star Wars. So it was just great to hear it encapsulated and that George Lucas is continuing to sort of break his silence about how he feels about where Star Wars has gone. And the fact that, Disney essentially has completely departed from his vision and his philosophy for what Star Wars is. And so, no, you do not have to like what Disney serves you up with Star Wars to continue to be a Star Wars fan. You can say, well, I liked the original Star Wars because that's what we had for the majority of the time period. You can nitpick here and there. That's part of what being a part of a fandom really is in large part. You can love the video games like Knights of the Old Republic and the sort of unfinished Knights of the Old Republic 2, also a great game. Rebel Assault, all these different things that maybe not, incorporated into canon. The Star Wars card game, the Star Wars Expanded Universe books, Tales from Jabba's Palace and the like, and Mos Eisley Cantina, the Grand Admiral Thrawn trilogy, all of these things that, while maybe not being a part of accepted canon, are still part of your Star Wars fandom and really did fit in line with what George Lucas had done with the movies. But now with Disney, and in particular, the demarcation point was The Last Jedi. After Force Awakens, even though it was a New Hope rehash, I still had hope that they could save it. But The Last Jedi, it killed any sort of hope that I had for their stewardship of what was. And depending on the time of day, and if it's, if I hear the Star Wars original soundtrack, still is my favorite piece of fiction that has been brought into this world, the original Star Wars trilogy. So no, you do not have to accept what Disney is giving you as this new sort of normal for Star Wars. You can recede, fall back with me to the bunker of the original trilogy, become a fundamentalist, and yes, you are still a Star Wars fan. Appreciate it, Nerdosphere. If you've made it this far, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And check us out, bestdamnnerdshow.com/Discord if you wish to get in on the conversation there.